All right, folks, we're going to get started. So we're waiting on others to get in. I want to share some new enrollment numbers with you because this is always a moving target. But as of this morning, uh, in terms of unduplicated headcount, we have 1,323 students as opposed to this day last year, where we had 1,283. So according to these numbers, we are up a bit. It's always a moving target. You know, there hasn't been a purge yet, but it's promising. And we're up plus 56 in student credit hours, which is the important number. So hopefully that trend continues. The dual enrollment students, there'll be a big cohort enrolled this week and most likely into next week, hasn't even been put in yet for the most part. So things look okay. Not tremendous, but better than they did last week. Um, Today, we're just going to go over a few things, and Mary is on her way. She was delayed. The academic calendar is posted in the new catalog, but I also provided you all with a PDF copy of it. If you ever want to get to the catalog, you'll go to the students link on the Nunez website, and you can click the link there, and you can also download portions of the catalog as PDFs. If you want to just print out your program's pages of the catalog. I'm working on getting all program chairs at least a printed copy of the catalogs because I always find that easier. We just have to wait to get the full PDF from the company that puts the catalog together so that we can bind those together and print them. But take note rather in, Jason, could you put up the academic calendar? On the academic calendar, we've included pretty much anything that was previously in the academic calendar. Give it a once over. You know, this was my first time creating an academic calendar, and all of you on that committee. It wasn't easy, and I'm sure there are some reconsiderations we may need to make in this calendar. But for the most part, this needs to all be set in stone. The academic calendar is in the catalog, has been published, therefore we have to abide by it. The one that we do have some wiggle room to change is going to be the administrative calendar, which you also received a copy of. The administrative calendar, you'll notice, is following the new academic calendar policy in terms of how we're spacing out certain days, like the show, no show, the reinstatement date, and all that stuff. You'll notice on the administrative calendar that in the summer, a couple of the dates, and this is because we followed the policy to a T, fall on a Friday. Those are subject to be adjusted. They're there now, but it might move it to the next working day after that Friday, because a lot of those things won't happen on Fridays, of course, during the summer. You also will notice dates for the winter session on both the academic and the administrative calendar, and I want to encourage chairs, please make sure that you consider a couple of winter session classes. We do make money off of the winter session. I think you have to strategically pick a course that will maximize enrollment, not something that only a few students can take. So a course without a prereq is a good one for winter session. Something that can be done in just 4 weeks is a good idea for a winter session. And this is also looking forward to building the next schedule. In the academic calendar policy, we've also identified how we're going to do parts of term moving forward. So, for example, the full semester is 16 weeks long. That's 15 weeks of actual in-class instruction, 1 week of finals. And then we have the mini A and mini B sessions, both in fall and spring. Those are 8 weeks long. Then we also have 4-week terms. That's the winter session, and then the 2 summer mini sessions, mini A and mini B during the summer. The full summer session is 8 weeks. And then we have 1 specialized part of term that goes for 6 weeks for any courses that might need to go over a 6-week duration. So it's 16, 8, 6, and 4. And those are the only lengths of term that we are going to allow on the academic calendar because it makes it easier to space out those sections of the semester. A few programs had 5-week terms, for example, which just created a bunch of problems, and it gave us 24 parts of term on the academic calendar. So we simplified it and made it the same for all programs. For example, HVAC, P-TECH, you all can still do the 4-week fast track programs, but stick within that 4-week term. So what I do as part of that process in building the calendar, I also assign the parts of term. So when chairs are ready to start building their course schedules, what will happen is I will tell Meg to create these specific parts of term, and I'll give her the range of dates, the start and end date for each part of term, and then I'll let the chairs know what those are and what they're labeled as, and then they can assign those parts of term for the courses that they're going to create. But winter session courses, I do want to encourage you to think about doing a couple of those. Not too many, because if we have too many, we won't have enough students, but some will actually be advantageous for us. So please take a look at the admin calendar when you get a chance, and if there's anything that sticks out to you that we should maybe adjust or reconsider, let me know. Academic calendar is pretty much set in stone. We'll have to basically suffer through an act of God to change that, but admin we can change. All right, April, you want to come up and talk about show, no show?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is just my semester reminder about show, no show, that we need you to get it in on time. And make sure you are checking that your students are actually attending and marking them accordingly in the system, so we don't have to go back and try to correct them later. So if you're having any trouble with the show, no show process, let us know. Email me, email Meg, anyone in our department. And registrar, we're happy to help. Meg does send out directions and reminders on how to do the show, no show. And especially for the online classes, you wanna make sure that they are doing an assignment that recognizes that they're a person, not just answering yes, no questions, but more like maybe have them do an introduction. My students, for my class, I make them do a discussion board on a topic that they have to go read about. I post a, whatever you want to call it, I can't think right now, a link to an article, and they have to tell me something that is actually in the article, so that makes them actually go do that. It's not going to catch everybody, of course. There's always that 1 or 2 people that slip through, but doing it timely and correctly helps us minimize how many students we're having to go back and figure out, oh, were they show, were they no show? And make sure that when you're submitting it that it says submitted, because I know we've had several times where instructors have gone back to fix 1 or 2 that they may not have gotten right before the deadline, and the submit button doesn't hit. If you do that and it does not submit, let us know ASAP, because we can go correct that for you. Okay, any questions about that? I know most of y'all are old hat about that, but anything? Okay, awesome, thank you. Yes. That I can't answer. I'm sorry? Yes, we're going to do enrollment huddles again. That's going to be a continuous thing. Yes, sir. If they have logged on to Canvas and done the assignment that you've put there, even if they're an on-campus student, there should be like a syllabi assignment or something to say you need to complete this to be a show in Canvas, because I even do that for my in-person classes. So if you don't have that in there, you want to put that in there, and if they participate, that's considered participation in the class. Oh, like just got into the class and didn't do any work? That's a no-show because they didn't participate in the assignment. Right, because some students will just get on there, look, and then we never see them again. We'd like to see if you can do attendance, but we really need you to do that show, no show. That's the most important thing for that show, no show date. Because after that, you know, if they've been a show after that date and they're marked a show, they're a show. That, in the respect of trying to have that wraparound service for the students to be able to say, okay, they've been attending or they've not been attending, and we need to have the outreach to the success coaches, that would be very helpful. You're welcome.
All right, so well, you mentioned attendance. Let's talk about that for a second, because a couple of things I mentioned yesterday connected to that I think are important. So as an institution, we don't yet have an institutional-wide attendance policy. When I look at all the syllabi that are posted to Canvas, a lot of instructors have policies, but they're all very different. And I'm wondering if, you know, collectively, if we should come up with an institutional policy on attendance that will be applied evenly and equally in all courses. So for example, some policies currently might say, with respective to each instructor, you miss 5 classes, your grade is affected in this type of way. Or if you don't participate in these assignments, these activities, here's how your grade is affected. Or if you don't give me a doctor's excuse after I give you, after you miss a class, then that counts against you in your grade. So they're all very different. And I'm just wondering if that sends mixed messages to students. Like, for example, if I don't have a policy, do my students see that as a message I'm sending that says, you know, come when you want to? Or if students miss class and there is no stated repercussion from that, and then they go to another class and there is, how does the student take that, where one class has, you know, values attendance and has a policy that's enforced, the other one values attendance but doesn't conscientiously enforce a policy? And I think that's something that institutions struggle with. We had to discuss what that would look like if we were to do that, and what would be fair and equitable for the students. But it is something that I want you all to think about. The samples or the syllabus template you were giving yesterday basically just has a blanket statement that says attendance is important. You must attend class. And you can take that at this moment however you want to take it. But in the future, we should probably come up with something a little more specific. Anyone have an opinion on that? Yeah. They do. But their attendance policy is pretty vague as well. I mean, it doesn't really specify here's what happens if you do not attend class. It basically says what the syllabus template one says. You know, students must attend class. But we can quantify it any way you want. I saw another hand up earlier. Yeah, Andreas, thank you. Mhm. And you know, well, like, you know, missing class for, you know, medical reasons, for example. Of course, those are excused by absences, and the instructor works with the student to make up those days. If it's 2 or 20, it's at the instructor's discretion to see what can the student do. If a student misses 20 days of class, I have a discussion with the student. I would say, is it in your best interest to stay in this class, considering the amount of work that you missed? Maybe the student deserves an incomplete, which is another way of salvaging their grade. There are ways of handling that. I'm just talking about a common sense policy we can just all have on paper so that our students are treated the same way and equally with regard to attendance, no matter what class they're taking. Yeah. Right. Right. We can't do that anymore. A lot of schools in the state were doing that, and they would even say, you missed these many days, here's how it affects your grade, or you can't stay in the class. So, yeah, those days are gone. Andreas, you had something? Right, right, right. like UNO used to say, students, and they were forced to get rid of this, students could miss so many days in the semester, and they broke it down to the minutes. If you missed, a total of 120 minutes for the semester, your final grade for the course would be decreased by a fourth or something like that, like something really specific. That just didn't work, and the state made us get rid of it. But I think you still need some type of attendance policy, or at least send a message that attendance is important. And I do think taking attendance in Canvas is useful. I mean, the little attendance widget is a great way of keeping track. Other things that we were going to go over will be the QEP today. And then we're going to get a dual enrollment update from Samantha, and then that'll be it for today. You'll be free to go to your offices, prep your courses any way that you want. If you have to communicate, if you're a chair, you have to communicate with any of your new adjuncts, please do so. And if I can do anything, just let me know. So Christine, you want to come on up and reintroduce us to the QEP?
Okay, there's a lot of text on these slides, and I'm going to go through things pretty succinctly, but I'm going to upload the presentation to the QEP faculty resources page if you want to have a closer look at anything. For those of you new, if there's anybody new, QEP stands for Quality Enhancement Plan. Every college has to have one. It's required by SACS. This is the rubric by which our QEP will be judged. As you see, there's unacceptable, weak, acceptable, and exceptional, similar to how we grade students. I'm currently finishing up what I hope is the last draft of the QEP impact report for the 5th year submissions. Can you click to the next one? That's just a general example. Can you click to the next one? Now this is essentially what they're going to be looking at. Every college has to have a topic that's identified through an ongoing planning process. It has to have broad-based support. The QEP is not meant to be a pet project of an individual person or committee or department. It's supposed to involve the entire campus, and that's one of the things they'll be looking at. We have to focus on student learning objectives, specific ones. Those of you who attended Lauren's presentation yesterday saw a little bit of that, and we'll see more of that later. We have to commit resources to the QEP, which can be anything from software to staff time, technology, etc. And we have to have a plan for assessment. Can you go to the next one? Now, our plan is very shortly. We've selected improving professional communication for success in college and careers. It aligns with the general education goal 1 objectives, the ones for oral communication and written communication, and I did use that data in the report. All right, this is one of the resources that we are committing to the QEP. Conover is a vendor that has workplace readiness modules. Can you click to the next one? This is an example of all of the areas that they cover: attitude, communication, teamwork. As you'll notice, they're similar to the rubric that you saw yesterday for general ed. You click to the next one. Okay. This is a little hard to see, but on the top line is the different workplace readiness modules that are in Conover. On the left is a list of classes, and you can see which modules program chairs selected. Basically, everybody was given a chance to select the modules that best supplemented what they were already teaching in their class. It's almost like an informal survey as to where they saw student need. As you see, most of them chose communication, critical thinking, planning and organizing were pretty popular, as were professionalism. And I'll have this information available on the Canvas page. You click to the next one. All right, basically, we took the Conover Workplace Readiness modules and we mapped them to the student learning objectives of the QEP. So let's see, here we have oral communication and professional communication. And under goal 2, we have written communication. You can kind of see basically how the modules that you have your students take, the type of learning that they're influencing. Can you click to the next one? All right, we took the data from student scores on the modules. It's out of 100, and there you can see kind of the mean score by goal over, from spring 2020. Does anybody have any comments about that, or no? Can you go back one? Does anybody see any issues? All right, and under each goal are student learning objectives. Can you go to the next one? All right. So on the left, we have the learning objectives under oral communication. On the right, written communication. You can see the progress over time. And then, can you click to the next one? All right, one of the other resources that we've committed to the QEP is basically faculty and staff time, technology, and putting on the professional communication workshop series. There are 12 workshops. They are also mapped to student learning objectives. And let's see, you'll see a flyer going around. Oh, good, that has the schedule for this semester. All right, can you click to the next one? All right. Oh, I think one of my slides didn't make it. These are the, if you look under each workshop, you can see which classes are requiring workshop attendance as a portion of the grade. This is something new that we implemented in the summer, so we don't really have a lot of data about it yet. Basically, attendance was very low, and so the program managers selected at least one workshop for one class that they would make required for student attendance. And they picked the one that best suited what they were already teaching. So this is one of the ways in which we share that we're involving, the entire campus. Can you click to the next one? All right. This is a map of the workshops to student learning objectives for oral communication. Click to the next one, please. And here's a map to the learning objectives for written communication. And click to the next one. And this is one for digital communication. And all this will be on the Canvas website. So if there are particular skills that you feel like your students need, you can actually look and see which workshops and which workplace readiness modules would best help enhance those skills. All right, this is the mean score. What we did, how we assessed the communication workshops, we had student surveys, and question 3 on each one asked how that they felt that the workshop enhanced their understanding of particular learning objectives. So this is students' self-assessment, and it is on a scale from 1 to 5. If you look, let's see. One thing I thought was interesting, if you look at learning objective 3.2, students will accurately discern the validity and credibility of online resources. Those scores are also lower, just as in the general education presentation you saw yesterday. Scores for sources of evidence in research were also lower. So students even assess themselves lower in that area. All right, click to the next one. All right. Now, one issue that we've had, student attendance. So the surveys, represent a small portion. We started in spring 2021 with one workshop. In the summer, we had a few more workshops. As you see, student attendance has been low. Now, these are all semesters in which workshops were not required as a portion of the class. So, feedback from faculty and students, there were a lot of requests for the ability to view recordings of the workshops asynchronously. And the summer was the first semester that we've made that available. There were a couple of teachers who imported recordings of the workshops into their Canvas class and made it available to their students. And if you click to the next one, you can see in the orange, that's the number of students who view the workshops asynchronously. And you can see in-person attendance was still low, though not as low as the spring. There's definitely a preference for these to be available offline. So you click to the next one. So this is how I have made these available to you online. If you look in your Canvas, you should have a QEP faculty resources class in your list. If not, please email me and I can get you invited into the course. So you would click on that and then click next. All right, this is the front page of the QEP resources. I'm in the process of updating it. I'll have the current schedule on there. There's contact information. And if you look under the modules, you click to the next one. Under the modules, I have general resources. The presentation I'm doing today will be here. I have conducted a few trainings in how to get your students' Conover grades and stuff. The recordings for that and any kind of professional development I've done via the QEP will be here in the top section. If you scroll down on this page, can you click the next one? All right. I have under the modules are organized by student learning objectives. So here are the resources that we have that the QEP is providing. It's sort of like a faculty toolbox for that. There's recordings of the workshops with surveys. There's also resources from the library. I have the prep step tutorials, the links to those listed here, as well as some videos that you could perhaps incorporate in your classes. Okay, can you click the next one? And you can see the same. I have a module for written communication and oral communication and the resources that are available to you there. All right, you click the next one. All right, and if you need any more information, all of the posters have this address on it, nunez.edu/QEP. On the right is a link to the professional communication workshop. So if any of your students wish to view the workshops virtually, each workshop is conducted in person in the library in room 126, at least right now. And it's also via Teams, so students can attend in person or online. And then if you make the recording available to your class, then they can view them asynchronously as well. At the bottom of this page, which you can't see because it's a slide, is my name and my contact email if you have any other questions. And that's it.
Any questions?
It's the instructions they should be on your syllabus. There's a conover.com and is it on the syllabus?
It's on, there's a link in that master syllabus that I sent
Yeah.
to everyone yesterday, online.conovercompany.com.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but it should be on the syllabus. But I can put instructions for access on the QEP faculty resources page. What happens is every semester I get a list of students that are in classes that use Conover, and I send it to the tech person there. And the password is always, at least initially, Conover, all lowercase. And they would automatically be assigned to the modules that your program chair has selected for that course. Yeah.
So the program chair is responsible for listing the courses?
Is responsible for choosing which workshop or workshops to require and which Conover modules. So if there are new program chairs and you want to change your selection, you can contact me. Or if you're a current person and you want to change.
You show the courses up there.
Yes. The courses are the same. Now there are new program chairs, so they may contact me and decide to choose different modules. But that's the information I had, at least from the last semester. The syllabuses were updated this past semester. So the program chairs updated their syllabus and listed, which workshops to require. The Charles would know more about the selection, how the selection of the workplace readiness modules occurred, because that was before my time on the QEP. The selection of the modules for which class, I was in the program managers did that. That was before I was, as they were called at the time. Oh, to Conover? Jennifer should be sending me that information this week. And Chris at Conover says there's, about a 24-hour turnaround, but that's if he doesn't get another project. But I'll send an email out once they've been loaded. Yes, I do. Yeah, it worked out really well last semester. So, any other questions?
More out of my own curiosity, I might need to learn more because, I'm still relatively new here, but if I were a new faculty member and I needed to be told, here's what you do with this thing called like QEP workshops, whatever, what's the script for that? How do I introduce the faculty member to what the expectation is of what they'll be doing or how they'll be using this in their class?
To ha-
How do I just tell them, here's what you need to do?
Yeah. Well, generally the line of communication has been from program manager to faculty member. So generally, in the past, I've met with the program managers and kind of let them choose what aspects of the QEP they were using, and they were the people responsible for sending it down to adjuncts and faculty members.
Since we have new chairs now, so these chairs, they are to contact you and identify the courses that they want these modules to be used in.
Yes, and which
And
modules.
then they're to identify the specific sections or all courses, all sections of the course will use these modules.
Generally, we've been asking them to at least choose one class in their program.
So one section, all sections
Yeah.
in one class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, all sections.
And then, so then after that's determined, then the chair will inform everyone teaching English 10 class, here's what you need, here's the
Yes.
modules you need in your class.
Yes.
Because I would recommend, since we do have new chairs, I'll send you a list of names just to
Yeah.
use them to this process and explain how it's supposed to work.
Yeah. In the past, I've spoken to the program chairs, and that's probably a good way to get the communication going forward. So. Anything else? Oh, okay.
So a couple other things that I wanted to mention. So I'll tell you a story. So we decided to do some housekeeping in AST, at least on the second floor. So David and other facilities just started cleaning some things out, and they found 5 boxes of Michelob Ultra from 2004 stashed in a storage room somewhere. Yeah, pre-Katrina beer, yes. Probably, yeah. And it's probably still good because it's Michelob Ultra. I say that to say there's a lot of stuff just tucked away in places, and I want to get rid of a lot of it. So I've been talking with Randy, and I say this to say, go through your offices and tell anyone else, to go through their offices. I know there are a lot of student records that we can shred. I know there are a lot of paper. There's a lot of paper we can get rid of. There's property we can surplus. Facilities will eventually contract with a shredding service. So anything needs to be destroyed securely, we'll tell you all where to bring it. We'll do like a centralized location where they can just bring the truck in, load it up and then destroy any documents. We cannot throw away documents with any, identifying information on students, anything with grades, personal information, that all must be destroyed securely. And that's one reason why I think a lot of things collect in people's offices. But I want to get a lot of it out because it's just cluttering things up, and there's no need for it because we can do things about that. So stay tuned for that. It'll basically be a housekeeping period for any common spaces or office spaces. So if you want to get rid of a lot of junk from your office, I'll invite you to do that. Mary, you want to come up and we can talk about advising real quick, and then let Samantha close us out? Or is Mary didn't come in, I thought? Oh, she stepped out, okay. So one of the last items on the agenda for this morning, but besides the dual enrollment update, is it says advising here, and that's only to say that please make sure that if you have the time and you can, pitch in with the Student Success Center. I know that Natalie sent everyone an email yesterday to encourage you to sign up for any time you can give. I know that you're busy doing other things as well right now, but if you can spare an hour to advise students, they greatly appreciate it, because the four of them just can't keep up with the number of advisees that are coming in for first-time advising. When it comes to continuing students, please reach out to your advisees and make sure that you touch bases with them. Nick, I wanted to know, that list you sent yesterday, where did that come from? Mm-hmm. Okay, so check out that email. Does that link stay the same if I were to go to it in the future? Would I have an updated list, or will you think the address would change? Okay. So look at that list for now. It's better than nothing. And also, chairs, make sure you continue to monitor the enrollments. There has not been a purge yet. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. As I said last time, 70% of our students were secure, meaning they have some type of aid or on a payment plan or have paid their tuition. Now that number moves as well. As we admit new students, we might be admitting more unsecure students, but a lot of work's been done to secure as many as you possibly can. So our enrollment numbers going into the next couple of days are as stable as they can be. As I said, when we started, enrollment is up a little bit, but that's going to be a moving target as well. Andreas? No, I don't. They don't tell me those things. Some of decided we had to wait, and I'm sure they got a reason for it. So. Anything else? Yeah. I've gotten a couple of emails with some inconsistencies between what's in Banner and what's in Canvas. I'm not quite sure. Give it till this afternoon. If they don't sync up, let me know. There are technical issues right now? Okay. Mhm. Only thing I can tell you is, let me break out the academic calendar here. So contracts will not be written immediately, because we have to make sure that we have the highest enrollment number possible. But on the academic calendar, the date for late registration ends on the 22nd. So on the 22nd is when that snapshot of enrollment is going to be taken, because that's going to be the high water mark after all the late admits add. So contracts will be written sometime between the 22nd and then I guess a couple days into that, because it takes time to write all the contracts. But the process will start, or it'll be triggered by the 22nd. Oh, full, I'll ask, Dr. LaRocca. I mean, the full contracts, there's no reason why they can't be written as soon as the first day of class starts. They still have to make sure that everybody has courses on their load, but yeah, but I'm talking about all the contract questions I usually get are those for adjunct contracts or overload contracts, where the 22nd is when they'll take that enrollment snapshot. And I'll ask HR. Any other questions? With the what? Ask David. I don't know what he did with it. Maybe he stashed it himself somewhere. Who knows? All right, Samantha, the room is yours.
Hi, I feel very important up here right now. I've never been up on a stage with a microphone. So I guess this has been an exciting journey for me because I haven't had the opportunity before this semester to build relationships with dual enrollment partners. So I kind of came in and hit the ground running and worked with partners we already had and fostered new relationships as well. So I guess I'll start with the new relationships we do have. I'm not sure if you've heard of NOCC, the New Orleans Career Center, but we acquired them. And also Frederick Douglass and John F. Kennedy. And I'm courting a few Jefferson Parish schools right now. We don't have anything on the books officially for them yet, but it's in the works. So that leads me to the fact that we have 78 new sections of dual enrollment, all sheltered for this semester. And I'm still adding and building. Oh, I forgot a partnership with St. Bernard Christian Academy. We just got them last week. So what else? 15 blended sections. I've been putting students in traditional population sections as well. Last fall rather, we had 43 sheltered sections, so that's plus 35 from last fall to this fall. What else? I'm projecting about 500, but I'm anxiously awaiting actual numbers right now. That's a waiting game. And I guess I would like to highlight three. So welding, electrical, and HACR have a lot of students, dual enrollment students. They're doing significantly well this fall. And I would also like to highlight that culinary will be getting 16 dual enrollment students. So that'll jump those numbers up. Does anybody have any questions? Fantastic. Okay, that's it.
Just to stress one last thing, so our dual enrollment numbers are up, are projected to be up. We don't have specific enrollment numbers to give you all yet, simply because the high schools just came back and they're trying to determine how many students they will send to us for enrollment in those sections. But their projections, if those hold true, tell us that we'll have more dual enrollment students enrolled than we did last fall and even last spring. I think Samantha's being conservative with her figure. I think it'll be north of 500. Just simply because of the number of sections that we've added. And then we have the blended students, or the students in the blended sections as well. Just one thing to take note of, and just so that programs know where the interest is, in terms of general education courses, yes, we do have some dual enrollment general education courses. We have English, Spanish, we have some math courses, but the real interest is in the CTE programs. And it's because we can offer programs that other institutions cannot. Other institutions are still charging that really, really absurdly cheap tuition rate for all of their courses. Usually it's $50 per credit hour. We have entered into memorandum of understanding with our partners where they agree to pay full freight. So we are not only increasing our dual enrollment offerings, but the schools are also paying full tuition for those courses, which is a huge deal for us as an institution. But it's the CTE programs that they're most interested in. That's why welding has significantly grown because of dual enrollments. HACR has grown, electrical has grown. culinary is on its way to growing. And I think that we need to capitalize on that. So if you are in a CTE program, please reach out to Samantha and let her know your ideas for how we can market that program, because there is interest there. You know, the four-year schools cannot offer these programs, and that's why they're coming to us. And the programs that we offer here that other two-year schools do not offer in our general vicinity, such as aerospace and P-Tech. So those are the ones that we know the schools are interested in, and you know, we need help trying to describe to them why they want their students, or why their students should want to enroll in these programs. Our long-term goal is to, you know, get these students to eventually matriculate as full students after they spend a couple of semesters taking dual enrollment courses in their senior year. I know that that's happening in welding, and not so much in other programs yet, but you know, we give them 2 semesters of coursework, or sometimes 4 semesters of coursework. They can come straight to us. And then let's also not forget the Fast Forward program, which, you know, is also going to grow our dual enrollment mission as an institution. You know, for those of you who don't know, Fast Forward is being supported by the state, in which funding is being given to students to take an entire associate's degree by the time they finish high school. So in their junior and senior years especially, they take courses in certain programs that have been earmarked for this type of financial support. Some even starting a bit earlier, even in their freshman and sophomore years. So this is something that, you know, a new initiative that our institution needs to serve, and it's only just gotten off the ground, so we'll see that grow as well. And we'll still be doing all the other things that we've always done. All right, so that's it from us for this morning. Anybody have any other last questions or comments? All right, well, I guess the rest of the day is your planning day. Whatever that means to you, have fun. See y'all tomorrow.